All right, welcome to Speak and Destroy. This is our third episode. We made it! And I am your host, Andrew Garaventa. With me, as always, Stephen Reed.
Hello, everyone. I'm ready to get that check. 3 episodes.
I don't know about it. And joining us today for the first time from Fist Team, the guy who got us started with all the equipment, Caleb Wrobel.
Hey, how you doing? So we're basically doing the Spider-Man thing. So I assume that in the second episode you revealed your secret identities, and in this one you're just packing everything with multiple people.
Yeah.
Too many people to handle. So
I want to be Sandman.
Really? Do you want to be Sandman?
Yeah.
Wait,
bye, Silver Surfer.
does that mean I'm Venom?
What was that awesome? Remember, in Spider-Man 3, Caleb pointed out their experiment that turned him into Sandman was them turning dirt
Yes.
into more dirt.
Yeah, my line was, our particle physics experiment is a success. We've turned sand into more sand.
And there was an old lady there, and she started laughing. And then she died.
Nothing like starting off a current TV episode with like a
I know.
decade-old movie.
People
That's
remember
been
it, though.
rebooted and has a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
Cool.
so for our first, our first episode is up live. You can check it out now. It's officially up at speakanddestroyshow.blogspot.com. We're also on SoundCloud under Speak and Destroy, and our Twitter is @speak_destroy.
Why couldn't we get the ampersand?
Oh, it was taken. Somebody
I'll
else.
find you.
Somebody else out there has Speak ampersand
There's
destroy.
someone who just has
wait, on
it.
Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use ampersands on Twitter?
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I think I tried typing in Speak and
Why would
Destroy.
they
and it was-
segregate the ampersand?
I don't know.
My
So
cat's name is Ampersand.
really?
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
got 2 cats, Asterisk and Ampersand. We call them Aster and Sandy for short.
Nice.
That's
So the theme of today's episode, in our first episode, we talked about the best movies of the year. In the second episode, we talked about the worst movies of the year. And I had an ulcer that almost killed me.
I want to edit it. I want John to edit it so it's only like your grunts and moans, so you don't hear anything but
Last year was that bad for movies?
Last
That
year
it
was
gave you ulcers?
it
there
wasn't-
was enough. There were great movies last year, but there were enough bad ones, like The Giver.
like when they were bad, they hit a home run. When they were bad,
Yeah, they were.
they were good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And today's episode, we're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows that are currently on the air. So any TV show that's currently playing, whether it's on one of the big networks, one of the cable networks,
Has
or
to be current.
yeah,
I was
or
going to talk about Alf.
no, oh, that'll be in a throwback episode.
Wait, I had a whole thing on Buffy prepared.
I know you do, and we're gonna save that for one day. Or if it's on like a streaming site like Netflix, it counts. But before we get into that, Caleb for Fist Team just went to PAX yesterday, so he's gonna give us the PAX report.
PAX report.
PAX report.
All right, so I had to run through PAX. I was there one day on the shortest day, but couple of things I managed to see. Let's see what happened. Star Citizen crashed a lot. We had to leave my friend's roommate behind because we got bored waiting for him. I don't hold that against it. It was one computer though, so perhaps it's not that bad. I unfortunately didn't get to wait in very many lines because I wanted to see everything, and I was only there for one day.
Yeah.
But a couple of things caught my eye. Smite.
Oh yeah.
Smite has changed massively from when I first saw it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think it might even be worth trying on Fist Team promotion.
I would want
But,
you guys to play that.
Really?
Yes, I would definitely want to see that played.
Okay.
oh, okay.
When
Wow.
I first saw it was basically a top down, just like
Yeah.
like League. It's changed to a
Like a third person.
I'm gonna call it a BioWare AD&D perspective. That level. So I think it's still action. So it's not like just
That's a drastic
D&D
change.
MOBA.
Yeah.
But like the perspective on it changed, and I think the game is going to change as a result. Like it
Yeah.
looked very different. Like it looked like a different game.
That's pretty cool. I definitely want to play that.
Other one, there was a lot of hype around was Overwatch. It's a Blizzard game in the vein of Team Fortress 2. I think it has a little. I think it has a couple of action RTS / MOBA / some other terrible acronym. Because that genre has the worst named acronym ever. But anyways, I think it has those elements, but it's primarily a class shooter in the vein of Team Fortress 2. And a couple of things that stood out about it is it was fun. It looked really fun. The classes are very distinct and highly developed, and it was incredibly polished. Like they're talking end of the year for opening the beta. everyone who played it basically said that
It's
they
already.
could release it now.
Wow.
Everything's that, I mean, there's balance changes that needs to be fixed, but that's basically the only thing. The classes are fully implemented, the skill trees are there,
Nice.
and it's just it looks like it's gonna be something special as far as class shooters go.
Cool.
And it even has sort of the graphics personality that you've come to expect from a Blizzard game, so that's really good.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my big takeaway from PAX East. Saw Dan do Salt.
Yeah. What's Dan's
Lasership 84.
Lasership 84 is
Lasership
his
84.
Twitter handle. He's a great artist. You check him out.
Yeah, definitely. His Twitter description, you're only allowed 140 characters. His is just packed with people he's worked for before. So, no, it really is. He's a good artist. There was a lot of TNA at his booth. I don't think much of it was written by him. But no, definitely check that out. Ninja Division, I believe.
Yeah,
Ninja
you're right.
Division is the company.
Nice.
So check them out. Check our friend Dan out.
Like his art,
Yeah,
not his body.
I
You're like,
could, you could.
I'm not your fucking boss. Look at his body.
He is engaged, so you might want to be careful on that. But hey, if you gotta like take a quick peek,
Just because you
like-
window shop doesn't mean you have to steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
just don't stare. Is what I'm saying. If you're gonna stare at the art.
A couple other shout outs we have to give real quick. Once again, we have to thank John Abarca, JJ Studios out in Los Angeles, who did the editing for us. And we also have to thank our friend Mike Buckland, who set us up with our second mic today, which is like really chode looking, but apparently very important.
It's a very
Yeah,
chill,
he set up the second mic just in time to have 3 people talking. So
Yeah.
me and Andrew are
Yeah.
in each other's face
Faces.
right now.
It looks like you guys are about
We're
to like
like-
yell at each other.
We're either about to yell at each other or we're about to like lean in. Like if there was
Yeah.
a bright light behind us,
Oh, man.
like that would be every kiss
Like
scene ever.
we thank John now. Can I give him a fuck you too? Because last time I talked to him, he's like, "What's snow like?" I was like, "Fuck you, John." We get it. It's sunny in LA. You don't know what snow is.
He's gonna like cut this part and be like, you don't get to
Don't
make
you
fun
cut
of me."
this part.
You know, there is something I could say about Lights Behind You about a certain show that I won't talk about, just because you guys will hate me for it.
Which show?
You know what show?
Pretty Little Liars.
Damn it, Steve! I didn't want that to go live, but anyways.
I think I talked about that on one of the few streams that I showed up on. I was like, Caleb,
Really?
I think I was just like, Caleb loves Pretty Little Liars.
Caleb
God
loves
damn
Pretty
it!
Little
Why
Liars.
does this always have to come up?
Cause I don't know.
All right. Anyways, so let's get to what you can take back the cast. We'll stop hijacking.
Well, thanks to Caleb for the PAX report. Say it too.
Bags report.
Nice. All right, so today we're going to talk about some of our favorite TV shows that are currently playing. I've just kind of assembled we're not really going to do like a countdown list like we did with the other two.
No, let's
episodes.
just discuss.
Yeah,
them.
so which one?
Let's get it out of the way. Andrew made this list because he really wants to talk about Orphan Black.
There are a few shows that like really like dig their claws into me to the point where I'm like, I'll go home, I'll watch an episode, and then like I'll be up for hours afterward worrying about what I just saw and thinking about the characters. And like the third season's going to be playing soon on I think it's April 18th is when it
Yep.
comes back. AMC has picked up BBC America and own it now, and so hopefully they're going to try and spread this show around a little bit more to get it like to be able to get a larger audience. But I'm just like, that's too long. Like I don't know what's going to
Why
happen
don't you
to
tell him
me.
the story? Like, this is a show that made this man gasp, and his father had to come and make sure he was okay.
Apparently when I watch like movies or good TV shows, like my reactions will usually like you can tell I'm enjoying a movie or a show if you can hear me, like you'll hear me just making weird cackle noises, like I'll go, ah! Woohoo! Just kind of noises like that. And I was watching the penultimate episode of season 1, and I got to this point in the show where like something dramatic happens, and I literally like I never do this, but I literally yelled at the screen. I was like, no! And my parents were home, and my dad comes right up the screen. He goes, "What the hell happened? What's going on up here?" I'm like, "It's Orphan
Is
Black.
my boy dead?
It's Orphan Black."
Wait, so Caleb, do you know anything about this show?
I've heard about it from a couple of people. I don't know anything about it, but at the moment, I'm just reeling from the potential implications that AMC is now going to air Top Gear. So
Oh, I didn't think
I'm
about
not sure
that.
how I feel about that now, but
We could have-
that's all that's in my head right now.
We could
so.
have 24-hour networks just dedicated to Top Gear.
And they'd have 24 seasons, so like you could do one season, you could do 10 days where you pick one season every day.
Oh, But yeah, Orphan Black is currently my favorite show that's on TV. I mean, it's the only TV show that I went out and actually bought the physical Blu-ray of. Like every other show I like, I'm like, yeah, that's a great show. This is the only one where I'm like, I need to own it and actually have it in my possession. And Steve, I tried to get you hooked on it.
No, I got sucked in. I already finished season 1, and that was in the span of like 4 days.
Yeah, there you go. It's not
I was
extremely
like,
long.
my quick summary: clones come. You feel
Right in the field.
right in the feels. I think I've never seen like a harder working like actor.
Yeah, Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, that's insane. Like that seems like it's like really hard to do.
Playing at least...
At least 8 characters.
Yeah. Or at least like...
Some more than others, obviously, but
Yeah. The fact that they actually were able to pull off a dance party with 4 different characters that she played.
I think there was an interview where they're like
Yeah, they have a making of it online.
that, and like she was like, yeah, they pushed me like really hard,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
she was
definitely.
kind of happy that there was like another person now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ari Millen is his name, who's going to be playing the male clones.
Yep.
So
Rebooted Dollhouse with her as the star.
I never saw Dollhouse.
I never saw Dollhouse.
Oh, well, that's not a current show, so I won't get into it. But yeah.
You said thought it will.
No, I won't. All I'll say about it is when it got canceled, they aired the final episodes that they had made 2 at a time. And the first Friday after it got canceled, you're like, "Oh God, why did this show get canceled? This is amazing." The next Friday, you were like, "Oh, okay, that's why." It's an inconsistent show.
Oh, that sucks. Downer. Which one do you want to talk about next, Steve?
All right, just close your eyes and pick one. Wait, I'll do it.
How can you close your eyes and pick one?
Broad City. Okay, so
I
Broad
don't
City.
know Broad City. Wait, is that on Comedy Central?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I've never seen
Broad
it. though.
City, I can't talk about too much, but I just know my friends Becky and Kayla would kill me if I didn't talk about it because it is very good. There's never been a time where I've seen it and not enjoyed myself, but it's one that I'm hoping that they put up on Netflix soon so I can actually sit down and legitimately watch it. It's about 2 girls living in New York, and it's just very funny the way they invert certain tropes and things. You know, like they made fun of the whole catcalling issue that's been
I feel
coming
like
up.
this is one of those shows that like just flies under the radar. Like, cause
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed until.
Oh,
like,
but
a
it's every
month
time
ago.
you know Hannibal Buress, the
Very funny comedian.
yeah, he's in it and he's hysterical in it.
Oh, I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's always it's one of those shows that when I watch it, I'm like, this is just very fun.
So I do have to ask, what does the broad mean?
Oh, I think it's because they're broads.
Yeah,
They're
that's what
chicks.
I was wondering. I was like, is that
I think-
title?
Like I'm not.
that? Am
I'm not
sounding-
sure. I'm not sure if I cracked the Da Vinci Code, but I'm pretty sure it's play
Oh.
because the women.
Let's see, other show. Another show that I could briefly talk about, but like not. Again, I don't follow it enough to really. Is New Girl. Like I've seen most of New Girl, but
I've seen all New Girl because
then you
I don't
talk
go
about this one.
outside. Okay, I have like I like it. It's very funny, but I also have problems with it. Like they don't know how to write like relationships very well. It's like very weird. Like
Yeah.
people just break up and like because
Yeah.
and like they do that thing like in Communities like very like famous for this too. I feel like characters are written one way and then they just become drastically different to the point you don't recognize them anymore.
Like who?
Like there's a character Winston. In the
Winston.
beginning he was very like cocky and he was like good at stuff and now he's just like
Dumb.
a bumbling like idiot.
I know, but bumbling idiot Winston's funny.
He's
though.
better, yeah. He's better.
One
He's
day
better.
I'm gonna
I'm
live
just
up
saying
there.
it's inconsistent writing.
Yeah.
You know that actually happened on Seinfeld with George Costanza though, and they wound up making it work.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, what was the?
he was mildly successful. I think he had like an actual job.
Was this
He
during the
dating-
first like 6
Yeah, this
episodes
was-
where everyone hates? Apparently,
This was the, you could say Dark Ages. I think it was the only part that was shot in the 80s, and it really
George
felt
just
like
get upset.
it. But no, I mean TV shows have made that work, so it's not necessary. All right, let me ask this then about New Girl. When they make an inconsistency like that, is it an inconsistency or is it a change? Because you said it gets better. Do you think it's something conscious or do you think it's a slip?
I think
it's definitely conscious.
Yeah, I think they consciously like kind of alter some of the characters to make them better. I think that you are hitting the nail on the head there with the relationships thing because that was the thing. Like a lot of people got thrown by the second season when they put Jess and Nick together, and a
Yeah.
lot of people just didn't think that worked. I kind of thought it did, but I see what you're saying there, where they kind of broke them up there at the end just for reasons.
It's
Be
never
like,
good
"Ah."
when writing like is like it's depicted through like what the fans want. They should
Yeah.
if they had a thing they should have stuck with it.
I feel like it's gotten a little bit better with them broken up though, so I think it
Yeah,
actually did work
yeah.
to listen to the fans in that. But it's just I don't know if it's just because it's worked with them not as a couple, or if it's just worked because they tried to make this relationship on the show work and then just kind of were like fuck it.
Yeah.
So let's see another one I can briefly talk about, like, but again, that this is just kind of more of an honorable mention, I guess, if you think about it that way. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I just started. It's the new
I'm excited
Netflix.
for that because it's Tina Fey.
It's a slow start.
Is it?
I had to get through like the first 3 episodes before I was like,
Are there
okay.
any 30 Rock alums in it?
Not that I've seen so far. I mean, aside from
I would do a whole podcast
Jenna,
just about 30 Rock.
What's her name? Jenna Krakowski?
Oh, I know. I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but what's her name?
Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna.
Yeah.
She's on it. She's still kind of playing the same character, but she plays that kind of haughty, upper class white person so well that I don't think it's too negative. So it's kind of cool seeing her back doing something that's other than a Trop 50 commercial. So
You know what I really hope right now? I'm sorry, I got to break this. Like, Caleb's wearing a leather jacket right now, and I just hope it's picking up every move that he makes because it is delightful.
But yeah,
It's cold down here, okay? Like, we're in
It
a
is.
basement, and it's cold, and there's asbestos in the floors, and
And there's hellfire.
I'm having a good time, but I hate it.
There's people in cages.
it's amazing, but it sucks at the same time.
There's a heater that's not even plugged in.
It's less of a basement, more of Satan's playground.
But yeah, I think I'm only like 5 or 6 episodes in. I think it's definitely helpful that it's only 25-minute long episodes, like because
So they do that Netflix thing where it's just right. It's just there, like all.
yeah,
of it?
it's all
How
up.
long is it? Like 13 episodes.
13 episodes so far. It was originally going to be an NBC show. NBC passed on it, so Netflix grabbed it. And
NBC shouldn't be passing on anything.
yeah, I know. I mean, this is probably better than anything that they've got going on right now.
NBC, what are you doing?
But I mean, it helps though because since they picked it up from NBC, they do get to use NBC properties. Like the first episode has the Today Show with Matt Lauer, and they're making fun of like kind of how the Today Show works, just like 30 Rock
Suck it,
used to do.
NBC.
Okay, so here's something interesting though that I kind of want to know about this show now. So House was actually produced by NBC. House was made in NBC. I believe I think it was NBC Studios. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but it was made in NBC Studios and then aired on Fox. So, from what you're saying, I kind of want to know now: is it produced by NBC Studios and NBC Network didn't pick it up?
I don't know. I think so because there was enough like NBC property going on, at least in the premiere episode. I have to wait to see if it keeps doing that. But that first episode felt very 30 Rock-ish of them to kind of have those references. So
It's also possible that Netflix is just using the same pilot they gave to NBC.
that's very true.
So, all right, I'm gonna do my homework on this show.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. I mean, the only thing that bugs me, and like this is just a personal thing, is the lead character played by
Ellie Kemper, I think.
yes. So the main character played by Ellie Kemper, she's very good in it, but she's playing a very chipper character, and sometimes that just doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't like really peppy characters. I
Yeah.
guess.
Like, wait, do you want to see people destroyed?
My favorite show right now is Orphan Black, and that show is just all like bad things happening to good people. So I guess so.
Side note: in Aladdin, he rooted for Jafar.
He was very cool looking. He had the black and red color scheme going on. He had that cool beard.
What kind of kid were you?
Scar, from Lion
Oh, I thought you were
King.
gonna say scarred. I was scarred as a child.
AKA Hamlet with cats.
Yeah, Hamlet.
I searched that House in NBC Studio thing that you're talking about was made. I got 404 error.
Oh no!
Cover up.
Incidentally, I did try to check out Smite last night. Similar note, it was actually crashed. It just said service unavailable. Their main website worked, but you went to the Smite page. No matter where you went, it was just service unavailable.
You can't do this. You're not allowed.
And why?
All right, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching. Again, it's short enough that I'm already like almost a third of the way to half of the way through.
All right, now let's talk about a great show that came out. It's called Early Edition.
That show is far too old to talk about. Get out of here.
No,
with early-
it's fine. I want to talk about the secret world of Alex Mack.
So, Twin Peaks.
It's coming back. We could technically talk
That's
about
true.
Twin Peaks because they're bringing it back.
Yeah, but in Alex Mack, she can turn Capri Sun.
And your point is?
Wait, Capri Sun was silver on the inside and the
Remember
outside.
those old commercials?
Yeah,
They'd
they
be
were-
like, "You drink this." And
Oh God, you're right.
All right, which one do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about
What's just go up from?
all right, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Oh, now this is a true underdog show.
It is. And I feel like this is something we talked about before. They're really kind of screwing their own show over with this weird.
Oh, absolutely. First, it was the whole we have to wait for Captain America 2 twist.
Yeah.
Which then it took off after that. You should
It did.
check
It got
out the
much
show,
better.
please. It's great. But then they did the whole thing with Agent Carter, and like, okay, we're not going to come back until this is done. I was like, why?
I've heard our Agent Carter's very good. I haven't seen it, but I'm almost wondering if it would have been better to show Agent Carter over the summer.
Oh yeah, well, like when the season ended.
Yeah, because they essentially hit Shield with this. It's almost been a 3-month dry period, Like,
Yeah, which like before it left, like I was reading like articles, and that last episode was like one of their highest rated episodes.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Oh, is that still on?" Because 3 months have passed.
Yeah, and I mean, if Agent Carter had done very well, that would have been one thing. But the ratings for Agent Carter just weren't there either.
Yeah.
Try getting even those ratings over the summer.
Oh,
I think that
that's
might be
good
their
point.
worry there.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's true. So I don't know. I feel like they were really
Well,
trying
then at this, and if you think about it, then what's really the point of the show then? Why even
of
do it at
Agent
all?
Carter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just I think it's cool that Haley Atwell likes playing that character. So
I
much
think it's
that
cool, too.
She's played her what 4 or 5 times.
One,
now.
I just don't see the point of it, and two, I have problems where I know everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Who's Haley Atwell?
Haley Atwell is the actress who plays Peggy Carter in the first Captain America movie. So she had a cameo as that character in Winter Soldier, as the old version of her. She did a one-shot about Agent Carter. Now the show.
Did you know in Captain America 2, she aged herself for that role? She was that old lady in the bed.
What are you fucking talking about?
Yep. She went to the gym every day and got old.
That's method acting for you.
Oh my god. But yeah, I think Shield's been good so far. Like I said, I think the new episode kind of suffered because without getting into too many deep spoilers, I mean, one of the characters, there was a character death at the mid-season finale, but
Was it Dum Dum Dugan?
Dum Dum Dugan's technically dead anyway because he was in the 40s.
Spoilers!
Oh shit. We just got a message from one of our friends, Mike, about how kind of inconsistent we've been so far with spoilers. And here we are,
okay. You know what? From now on, we're just going to put it, the rule is spoilers are going to happen.
Yeah.
If you don't like it.
They'll try their best. I won't.
Yeah.
No, I won't. I'm not going to
Yeah.
try.
I don't know.
I won't try.
So before we move on, though, do you have anything else to say? Is there something I want to ask Steve before we move on?
No, I think I mean, it's a good show, and I feel like people aren't watching enough, but now that it's on Netflix, stick with it, get to that twist part, and you see that it's actually a pretty good show.
Well, you have something to ask me?
Yeah, once it becomes its own.
Yeah.
Once it becomes its own show, and you feel like the writers aren't. Once you feel like they kind of have their reign and they're doing what they want, also they're not trying to force that particular character down your throat. Like, you know the one I'm talking about. It's like he's not the White Knight. You can't make him the White. Like, it felt like they were really pushing for Grant. Yeah.
Oh, he's so good now.
Yeah,
It
he's
felt
so
like they
good
were
now,
really
yeah.
pushing forward to like make him just a blank slate good guy,
Yes.
just a generic good guy.
Yeah, he was so unlikable.
That when he made the bad guy, even though a lot of his bad guy things kind of don't make sense, it doesn't matter because he's better there.
Oh,
yeah.
No, so what I wanted to ask Steve on this topic was, you said that you feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an underdog show. So I know what you mean from the feel, but what gives you that impression from, I mean, it's coming out of the Marvel universe, which is probably which was the most successful movie, I think, of like the last 2 years, 3 years or something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying that because everything I see just seems to be still complaints about it.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of complaints, and also just the ratings aren't there.
Yeah.
So it's like underrated because you said underdog and I'm like I kind of get what you're feeling, but I was just curious if you had.
I meant like underdog, like you're rooting for it. You want it to do well. At least I do anyway.
Because it's a Joss Whedon executive show, but the other Whedons are the ones actually in charge of
Jed?
it. So I didn't know if that's what you meant. I didn't know if that's what you meant. Like they I don't know. I didn't know if
No,
you felt
I
like
know what you're saying,
Marvel
yeah.
wasn't giving them enough.
Yeah.
No.
Disney didn't have enough behind it.
That's what I think. I think we mentioned this before. Is that's going to be S.H.I.E.L.D.'s saving grace, which is that Disney owns ABC. So it's not like I think they're not going to be in any rush to cut it the minute that it looks like because even they've been asked about like the low ratings for S.H.I.E.L.D. and Carter, and the response has just been we're confident in the show.
Yeah. Because they're like, what's money?
Yeah. What is this? What are these money
People
issues?
have to pay for houses?
So that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Are you guys good with that one? Do you want to move on?
I feel like there's something else I wanted to say. I forget.
I'll take that as a yes. So Brooklyn Nine-Nine has still been very good.
Oh, that show's amazing. The Andy Samberg, does he produce it too?
I think he does.
I think he does. And he's one of the writers, obviously. But his Brooklyn cop comedy is amazing.
I know. I really didn't expect anything from it. and it's
I did
been
not
very
at
good.
all, and it was awesome. Season 1 was great.
Yeah, it's very delightful.
It's fun to watch.
Joe,
Like, I get
Joe
excited.
Latrulio on that show.
Yeah, it's one of those shows I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's on.
Hooray.
Terry Crews, though. Can we talk about Terry Crews?
What can't we
He's
say
amazing.
What can't we say about Terry Crews?
That he's not delightful.
True. Is your phone set on 24-hour European time?
Instead of military time, thank you.
Jesus.
Why?
I don't.
It's time for our favorite segment, Grill Caleb.
I don't know because I just
Leather, looking at your time. Are you an assassin? All they heard was probably rustling leather.
I'll take that as a yes. So House of Cards
I haven't
is back.
I haven't seen House of Cards. Well, I've seen season 1.
Caleb is the one who's the most caught up on this at the moment. I've only seen the first episode of season 3, which Netflix currently posted.
Like, I like it, but I took a break. Okay, in my mind, I took a break because, like, to me, like, Kevin Spacey continuously talking to you is exhausting.
And yet he's a bit like Jeff Daniels in The Newsroom, where you didn't expect to, like, you didn't realize you needed that in your life.
Until he was there.
But then he's there, and you're like, oh my God.
Like, I didn't know I needed this until it was too late.
How do you feel like it's going so far, Caleb? So how many episodes are you into the
I am probably on chapter 32, because that's how they number them, which is not helpful for that, but it starts at 26, or it starts at 27, so I'm probably halfway through.
Okay.
Halfway through the series. It's a very different tone.
Yeah.
I think the plots are very different because he's less in control this season, and I'm not really spoiling very much for you because you were definitely aware of that in the pilot.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how I feel about his chess master status kind of slipping.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, his goal for the first 2 seasons, at least insofar as you've been able to guess, like as you've kind of been informed, it seemed like he was just aiming for the presidency. Like it feels like he had a plan afterwards, but from everything you've seen on a practical level, his clearly stated goal is done.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like the show is without direction now. But just the general impression I've got, it's not even meandering really, at least no more so than it used to.
Yeah.
But I'm not at the end, so it might come together at the end. But that's just the general impression I've got from kind of the first half. It doesn't know where to. You don't feel like it knows where to go. Okay. I mean, I have faith in the Netflix production company to do this. But it feels like one of those movies. It feels like all right, this is getting too harsh, but it feels like a sequel to a movie where they had something distinct planned for the first one, but now they're making the second one and they're not sure what they want to do with it.
I'd say that's probably fair. Again, I've only seen the first episode so far.
When do they make the House of Cards?
Never.
Season 8. That's a series finale. He just turns to the audience and is like, I did it. I made a House of Cards.
So I heard one thing. I have to go soon, so I don't want to harp and I don't want to take up more time in this show. What do you think of the format? Or more importantly, do you think the format means anything?
Of him specifically, how so? Like him talking to the camera?
Yes.
I love that. I love his little soliloquies there, where he's breaking the fourth wall.
Because I've definitely heard something said. I've definitely heard the idea put out there that the entire show is him actually dictating his memoirs. So you as the audience, in fact, they introduce someone that I won't go into too much detail, but they introduce someone who, in fact, might be the audience. Oh. If that theory holds,
there's a character who's like an author, right? Or he's a journalist.
He's an author.
Okay.
And Kevin Spacey finds him Frank Underwood finds him in a very Frank Underwood way. Then I won't spoil it because it's actually pretty great. But nice. Yeah, so I'm kind of hoping that format comes to have meaning, not just it's not just there for the sake of it.
I do like the idea though, like when he's looking and talking to the camera, it's like that's what he's really feeling. Like my favorite time they did that was in season 1, where he got asked to speak at it was like a funeral episode, and he's talking about his deceased father, and he's giving this nice impassioned eulogy type thing for his dad, which is what everybody would expect from a senator. And then he's looking at the camera, telling you how he actually felt. Fucking hated my dad, and I was really glad when he died. And like I like that idea that like we're the ones seeing
his true self.
The true self.
It's Shakespearean.
Yeah, I also loved in the second season premiere when the entire episode goes by.
Yes, that was great.
And he hadn't talked to the camera at all, and you're like, oh, did they abandon that? And like at the final moments, he looks in the mirror in the bathroom and he goes, did you think I forgot about you? And you're just like, ah! And he goes, maybe you wish I had. And you're just like, oh god,
that's terrifying.
Yeah, but yeah, I like where the show's gone. I like the second season. I feel like it really did take a little while for the second season for it to all come together at the end. I feel like throughout the second season, I was kind of wondering where things were going, but when I got to the final 3 episodes, I couldn't stop watching. I was like, all right, this is where it was all leading up to. So it's one of those shows where I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't make us feel very uncomfortable for one scene this season.
Oh, are we talking about the 3-way?
Was it a devil's 3-way?
We've been too much on this show. Let's just
leave that one up in the air.
Was it a devil's 3-way?
More importantly,
might have been.
My question is who's in the middle, because that's a bit ambiguous in the show so far.
That's true. We really don't know. which way Frank Underwood actually leans, which teams. He
Oh,
really
there's
plays.
actually something very interesting with that coming up.
Ooh,
Coming up soon.
All right, cool.
Where it's a bit like, I don't know, because normally you wouldn't say, okay, like he did that journalist girl. I was trying to think of a tactful word to put in there, but I just won't. But he did that journalist girl. So in a normal show, you'd be like, okay, like if he was really fully gay, he like wouldn't be able to do that. But they make him out to enough of a sociopath that the power could be the boner. It could be a power boner.
The power could be the boner.
that's the season 4 tagline.
The power could. It's just him shrugging. Power could be the boner.
Either. It's a question that's posed by the season.
Is power the real boner? Okay, so the next one I wanted to quickly touch on, and this is one that you haven't watched yet, and I think you should, is Better Call Saul.
I have a problem with prequels.
I know, but it's really good.
I have a problem with prequels.
This is a show that I think so far has been just hitting all the right marks. I think it's doing everything it needs to do correctly, where it's paying homage to Breaking Bad, which was such a huge freaking show. I think there was so much expectation and hype for this, and I think it's doing a good job, and I think a lot of people are loving it so far.
I do like Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah, Mike Ehrmantraut. I think it's cool to kind of see where he came from, because
Yeah.
Jonathan. I like the fact that they pay homage to Breaking Bad. But they're not harping on it too much. They're not like the incessant little cousin or something just jumping up and down like, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
You know, the new episode was fantastic. Any plot point that has Bob Odenkirk interacting with a speaking toilet is just brilliant.
Wait, what? Was he on drugs?
No, this guy, he's a lawyer, so this guy's trying to create patent law. He's like, oh, I want a patent for this. I found this. He's like, I designed this toilet that speaks to your kids to help potty train them with positive reinforcement. So they start dropping shit into the toilet to like demonstrate it. But like everything it says is vaguely sexual. It's like, oh, Chandler, way to go. You're so big. It's brilliant. Oh.
Is the guy from Last Comic Standing still there?
Oh, the big guy?
No,
Huel.
No,
he
Huel's
was
not in it.
He was hired in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Huel.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't know. I just like that guy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone likes Huel.
So I don't think we're going to see Huel. I don't think we'll see Walter White or Jesse Pinkman at all.
As well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think... I don't think we're going to see him in any type of sense of, like, flash forwards or... But I don't even want to see them in kind of like a passing moment where, like, he's driving down the street and you see Walter in the background or anything like
Or
that.
even like a series finale type thing.
Maybe in the series finale, that'd be fun. I feel like the series finale needs to end with him in the present time. So, like, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll probably do.
I think that's what... Because the premiere episode starts with a quick glimpse of him post Breaking Bad. So
Yeah.
working in a Cinnabon.
Cinnabon.
So, Orange is the New Black is another Netflix show I love it. Caleb's giving me a frumpy face. I don't know if that means you
Wait,
dislike
he
it.
could have to poop.
No, you just skipped the thing that I was going to leave on.
Oh, you pooped.
Oh.
I don't know. If you want to go to Orange is the New Black, John, you can cut this out. But no, go
No,
ahead.
we'll come back to Orange is the New Black real quick. So the next one that was on the list of Caleb, I think, is Arrow. Caleb.
And I haven't seen this season, but I just love that show in such a silly way. I love its format. I think it's one of those cool shows that the format with the split front, the current
split
timeline,
storyline?
the split
Yeah.
storyline with the current, that makes it.
Yeah.
Like that format itself, because I'm trying to think of a good example, because there was a good example of a movie that I could see where just one of them would not have been enough to make a full story out
Is it
of.
the lake house where they're separated by time?
No, it's not for the lake house.
It was the Lake House. Actually. No. It was the Notebook. I'm sorry. Although, incidentally, if you want to, you very rarely see ensemble casts in movies. One of the few ones where you actually legit follow two characters are rom-coms.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's true.
But this does follow a very two characters situation, and it's a bit like what I feel about Final Fantasy, where a lot of the tension in the old story, at least, is driven by the fact that you don't know specifically what happens, but you know its effect.
And you also kind of feel like you feel the storm coming because you know what he dealt with on the island, so you know what's
No,
coming.
you don't know what he dealt with on the island.
Well,
He's vague about it.
Well, when
and
they
I
show
like
you
that.
like their little arcs, like you know what's coming.
Which is interesting
True.
because one of the big complaints about season 3 so far has been a lot of people are just wanting to write off the flashbacks, which I find
I
interesting.
find the flashbacks busy, like the what's his name that he's traveling with,
Maseo.
Maseo. Like
Maseo
I
Hudson.
find them to be the most interesting characters.
That's a stereotype because like I've seen reviews where they talked about how they hated the flashbacks, but they liked Maseo and Tatsu, and I find that just such a weird thing.
How is that weird? They are the flashbacks, so how
I
would you
know.
hate the flashbacks?
I don't know, but
So I can definitely see hating the flashbacks because the plots were at least okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think both the present and the past plots are themselves a little thin. It's their interplay that actually makes
Yes,
them
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So if one of those is falling behind, in particular, because I haven't seen this season so far, but if the storylines in the past are lagging or they start to feel out of place, then I can see wanting to write.
The
them
thing
out.
is, though,
I
they're
don't think
not.
it's a good idea, but
I think at the beginning of this season you were kind of like, I wonder where it's going, but by the mid-season
By
finale,
the
you knew
minute, yeah,
exactly
I was
why.
like wary, but they did a good thing. Like you don't want they switch it up from the island. You don't want it to be the island like, oh, everyone wants to take over this island.
Yeah.
Like for a while in season 2, I was like, what is this island lost? Like, why is it so mysterious and powerful?
I don't know.
But then they switched it up, and I thought that was a really
How
good
do you
idea.
of course he does have to go back to the island.
Oh, he does.
Which my worry there is that anytime I wanted them to leave the island, because yeah, you're right. I was worried about a Lost effect where there's just like random MacGuffins everywhere. That make people want to be there. Actually, no, that's not fair on Mirakuru. It wasn't a MacGuffin. It did have a point in the plot.
Yeah.
But yeah, my worry is that anytime they leave the island, there might have to be a contrived return to the island because you know it has to go there.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that whatever justification they have to get it back there winds up making sense.
They had
Unlike
one.
Lost.
They had one, and it made sense.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite episodes because we got a cameo from you know who.
Yeah. Wait, you were gonna ask me something before.
I was going to ask, how do you feel like the season's going? Because I've seen a lot of complaints about this season.
Okay.
If I can just interject real quick, I just feel like the big complaint I'm seeing, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is people comparing this season to last season. Because last season was one that really blew the show open with Deathstroke.
That's what. Yeah. In the beginning of the season, it was starting a little slow to me, but in my mind, I kind of pushed that complaint back because you just came off an awesome season, and they can't start off at the gate like that. That wouldn't make any sense. It's not. So I kept that back. Then it built up, and I've loved it.
Yeah, I think it's been very solid. I think the whole thing. I like what they've done with the new Black Canary. They have not rushed it. They've done it slow enough. I
But
believe
they
it.
keep going back to season 2. Like, oh, why isn't Ra's al Ghul like Deathstroke? Like they keep comparing them. Like they're two completely different villains.
Yeah,
Ra's al Ghul's not like that. He's not going to come up and just
punch you in the face.
punch you in
kill
the
your mom.
face and kill your mommy.
He's not going to show up and be passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressively passive aggressive, I'll admit, but still.
Hello, kid.
Yeah, so you gotta take it. That's why I don't understand reviews
Of single episodes. I would agree.
Like stuff like that really needs to be looked at as a whole.
I like what Nerdist does. The Nerdist, they do like a recap of just their general thoughts about the episode, but they don't give it like a score or a grade.
Yeah, it shouldn't have a scoring system.
Yeah.
I feel unless you're judging the as a whole, because you wouldn't judge a book if you read half of it.
Yeah, I agree. We'll actually end up talking about Arrow in a little bit, but so for now we'll move on to Orange Is the New Black, which so the point you're making is.
So the point I'm making there is, so what you just said about judging a show by
episode by
episode, you actually have that formula completely inverted when you move into Netflix shows. So
it's just all one bolt.
Yeah, next one on the list here is Orange Is the New Black, and that's actually a show that I would not watch episode by episode, but dumped down as a whole season. Like I don't think that show, the episodes individual. The individual episodes might be good, but I don't think it would string together as well.
I think that's one of the really. I think it's obviously the best show on Netflix right now, aside from House of Cards, because Netflix has been struggling, I think, overall to find the next big Orange is the New Black and House of Cards. They've had a couple misses. There's that werewolf show they do that I don't think is very good.
Or werewolf show. Oh, Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove. I watched the premiere of it. I didn't like it. They've got a couple other ones up there that I haven't seen yet. We should make a quick reference to. They have Knights of Sidonia, which is the first Netflix anime only. I've heard very good things about it. Cool fun fact about Knights of Sidonia, for the second season that they're making right now, John Abarca, JJA Studios, is the sole sound designer and sound engineer who's in charge of all the English dubbing for that show.
Yep.
So, just to make it random anime tangent here, interesting thing about that show with the dubbing, I frequently, because of the whole dubbing versus subbing thing, just out of curiosity on that debate, I usually watch with dubs with subtitles. And I've never seen subtitles follow the script exactly like they do in Knights of Sidonia. So I just think that's an interesting note about that anime. Is there's no translation that there's usually sometimes a massive difference between the subs and the dubs. But that one is word for word. Also, I love that show. I've got high hopes for the second season. When does the second season come out?
I don't know. I'd have to ask John since he's.
I don't even know if John's able to say that.
Yeah, he might not be able to.
So we don't know when it's coming out, but that's another good show that at least I feel you should watch. It started out as kind of a generic Evangelion, Attack on Titan. There was one other show that I could liken it to. where essentially monsters attack Earth for some reason. But yeah, halfway through, it actually comes into its own very strong, very powerfully.
Excellent. So we'll have to check that out.
So actually, on that, I do have to go.
All right.
So I
Caleb's
gotta
going to work.
So sorry about that, everybody, but it was great being here. It was a good show.
Thanks, Caleb. Well, thanks for joining, Caleb.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll definitely have you on again. Obviously.
Yeah, I'd love to be back, especially. I hear you guys. A couple of episodes. Just give me some heads up because there's a couple of episodes I find interesting, and I think I could.
Sure.
We're gonna do a video game episode coming up.
All right,
you
sounds
get
good. All right, thanks everybody. I'm going to try to walk up the stairs very, very quietly.
He just falls up the stairs. How is this possible?
He broke gravity.
And my leg somehow.
I'm sorry to ruin your podcast, but you can bring me to a hospital.
There was a Dota streamer who actually got robbed in the middle of a stream.
Really?
So hopefully this doesn't become like.
Wait, so you fall up the stairs and someone breaks in our house and robs you?
No, I'm just hoping that we don't have to go. That you guys don't have to leave this to go to the hospital.
The twist is he brings you to the hospital.
He robs you, but takes you to the hospital.
Bye, guys.
See you later, Caleb.
All right, so that was Caleb Wrobel.
Oh, now I can stop throwing my voice. It was hard to act like another person was here.
So yeah, but Orange to New Black. Do you watch the show at all or no?
I know it's in prison, and I don't like Jason Biggs.
He's not going to be in the third season, I don't think. I think his character arc is officially
He's getting
done.
kicked off everything because he was recently. There's the newest version of TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, on Nickelodeon. He was the voice actor for Leonardo, and he got fired from it.
Really? I know he had some controversy with some tweets that he did a while back.
Yeah, that's why. And now it's Seth Green.
Really? Oh, interesting. Well, I know that I feel like with him, though, his character arc in that show was over, so I think they were just, maybe that was the reason, but they were just
maybe it's the reason he's Jason Biggs.
That's true, too. But I love that show. One of the most talented casts out there. Definitely glad that Uzo Aduba won for Crazy Eyes. I think that's her name. But that's just a brilliant show. And so let's get to the final one on this little list of shows we just kind of wanted to pay homage to and tip our hats to today, which is The Flash.
I love The Flash. In some ways, I might like it more than Arrow.
I feel like that's the other big problem, and this is what I wanted to come back to with Arrow before, is I feel like the big complaint about Arrow Season 3 is like this one, I feel like Arrow's third season so far is a very slow burn. You know, it's kind of building up to something. And I feel like Flash's first season has been so phenomenal that's again, the unfair comparison is Flash is good, Arrow's bad now. And I think they're two very different shows. The tones couldn't be more different.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Arrow is grounded for the most part in
dark and brooding
and realism.
Yeah.
And
whereas
the Flash is like
falls the wall crazy.
I run real fast.
I'm happy.
I'm the best.
But I think that show is just phenomenal. Grant Gustin is the Flash to me. I think Ezra Miller might do a good job as the character in the movies, but to me, it's Grant Gustin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in fact, there was a little like spat between them, like the star of Arrow.
Yeah, Stephen Amell
was like, W the fuck.
Yeah, he was not happy that they announced that Ezra Miller was going to be the new Flash, essentially on the same night that the Flash premiered.
Yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
You know, come on guys, let the TV show stand on its own. But
let's talk about the best thing about Flash, which is Harrison Wells, played by he was in Ed. I don't remember. He also played the brother in Scrubs.
Yeah, hold on, we'll cut this part out because we dumb.
You dumb. I'm sorry. I did not mean to get so angry about that. I was like, this motherfucker.
This Paul Reiser motherfucker. This Paul Reiser motherfucker.
I was like, I know you're dumb.
The best part is, it's definitely Tom Cavanaugh as Harrison Wells.
It's really interesting. Here's what I like about the show. I didn't think they were going to do half the shit they did, at least not now.
Oh, yeah.
And they just went straight into the mythology and like the core of Flash. Gorilla Grodd, time traveling, Reverse Flash.
Oh, it's been brilliant. First of all, that introduction to Gorilla Grodd was
oh, it was awesome.
Gave me goosebumps. I was so happy.
Because I was really worried about it first. I was like, how are they going to do metahumans? Like,
yeah.
I was like, Arrow works for me because it's so real. And then they just like, shut up. You don't know anything, Steven. I'm like, you're right.
You're right.
And they're like, watch this show. And I did. And it's amazing.
Oh, it's
Not to mention a big shout out to the Jesse Martin, I think his name is, who plays Joe.
Oh, Jesse Martin's fantastic.
Some of the scenes between like him and Barry are like, they're very emotional.
Yeah. He provides the heart of the show. And then Tom Cavanaugh is just...
There's not a character I don't like.
Oh, yeah. It's a brilliant cast.
I'm really fond of Cisco, too.
Cisco, Snow, Caitlin Snow. They're both great. And they've done a really good job of juggling such a large cast of characters, especially for a show in its first season. Because even Arrow had to kind of work its way up to building the core relationships with like Oliver and Felicity and Diggle.
Oh yeah, Diggle.
Doug Diggle.
Oh my god. And so, how do you feel about the? Do you hear the rumors that he's the Green Lantern?
I would love that.
How's that gonna work though?
I don't care. I love it. I don't give a shit how they do it. If they made him the Green Lantern or anybody really, if they made him any like hero type situation, I'd love that. Even if
he would have to.
Even if he wasn't a hero with powers, just giving him his identity, his own identity.
He would have to go away though from the show, like because then Arrow would be second fiddle on his own. Like,
that's true.
Oh no, people with guns, and he's like, I have a ring that makes a Gatling gun.
That's a good point that I want to come back to in a moment. But I'm very excited for the next episode of Flash, especially now that we're finally getting the big reveal with Tom Cavanaugh as being the Reverse Flash, which they've built that up so perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And even to the point where people weren't entirely sure at the mid-season finale when they showed that he had the suit, they're like, "Is he the Reverse Flash? Is he? Is he not?" And now that it's confirmed he is, I mean, it's just been
yeah. Oh yeah, it's been amazing.
But that brings me to a point that I wanted to talk about here, which is how do you feel about what DC is doing with their TV universe? You know, are you excited for a third show, or do you think it's too much?
I think that they are blinded by like 2 successful shows at the moment.
Yeah.
And now they're just like, just send them all out. Just keep coming, keep writing. And like, they're just trapped and just writing forever.
Because these guys, they've got Arrow, which is a hit. They've got The Flash, which is already a hit. Now they're going to be producing Supergirl for CBS.
Yep.
Which is going to be separated, but still a show they'll be working on.
And if they wanted to, they could connect at any time.
Yeah, because it's they're CW and CBS are owned by the same people, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah,
but I just think maybe they're not focused on content right now. I feel like I'm afraid they're blinded.
Maybe because that's I think a big point is I'll say this. You know, I'm trying to defend Arrow today because I just feel like I think people are writing it off way too quickly. But I will say if there's one big thing that's bothered me about Arrow and The Flash so far, it's just that both seasons so far have felt a little bit too much like platforms at time for other heroes. Like, we're spending a lot of time in Arrow building up Adam.
Yep.
And I love Brandon Roth as Adam.
Oh, he's been awesome. But yeah, it's just like you get to spend all this time with this character who's just going to leave that show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the big problem there is, you know, with The Flash, they've been doing that too with Firestorm, but Firestorm, his story was pretty tied into this season.
His story was tied in, and then he just left.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone now, but his story at least tied into the whole idea of the meta.
And that was another thing. That's a hard character to do, and they pulled it off very well. That's 2 people. Firestorm, for people that don't know, is 2 people fused together into one entity.
Yeah, and they've done it very well with Robbie Amell and Victor Gable, I think.
Yeah.
Garble?
I think it's Garble.
Victor Garber. Victor Garber. From Alias. So, yeah, I mean, they've done that very well. But you know, with Adam on Arrow, like his storyline is not connected to anything that's going on, and that's the one thing that has bugged me is that.
I also wasn't a big fan of like him flying around.
I liked it.
I was like, it looks weird.
I like it. He's essentially Iron Man for them, so I'm down with that. But yeah, so I'm just a little bit worried that they're already planning this third crossover like big team up show. I am a little bit worried it's going to be too much, and just kind of put it over. So. All right, were there any other ones that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the straight-to-DVD release of Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, then I would like to talk about According to Jim.
Really? I think that's done now, right?
I believe that the season 7 episode 4 has a lot of like political standpoints that I agree with. Especially when he like drops the pie.
Well said.
There is something we never talked about the Oscars.
Do you want to talk about the Oscars?
I'm gonna do bullet points. Oscars. Neil Patrick Harris. Magic. Birdman wins. Boyhood. Waste of time. What's the guy that made that?
Richard Linklater.
I just imagine when I heard that news, I imagined him like in a bar, like just looking up the bartender, like a half empty glass. 12 years. 12 years. Wait, he's like, I gotta do another one. I gotta do it before he's a boy. I gotta do it when he's a sperm. I'll call it boyhood again. I'll call it. The bartender's like, you've had enough. Birdman.
Wait, do you think Neil Patrick Harris did a good job or no?
I think he did a good job.
I heard he did a terrible job. I didn't watch it though. I was at
It's
work.
not about what you think.
Oh, sorry.
It's about what Neil Patrick Harris thinks.
That's true.
I think he also might think he did kind of like a bad job because I read that he's like I won't do it again.
Yeah. Well, I think the point that people keep making is they're trying to spend so much time on making this big pomp and circumstance when they really should just be like, all right, here's the awards, because it was like almost 3 hours long, and they end up rushing through like the final categories.
Yeah, why? Why can't it just be like, well, they should just do it like they do Powerball.
Yeah.
It's just on, and some ladies just like,
There it is.
here you go. So that way, when you lose, boyhood, you're not just there sitting in a suit being sad. You can just turn off your TV and go back to drinking.
Yeah. Well, was there any big surprises for you?
That I watched it.
And on that note,
Okay, sing us off, Andrew.
I'm not going to do that, but I will say thank you guys for joining us. Thanks again for Caleb for being able to join in today. I hope you guys liked having him on.
Or was he here at all? You can't see anything.
Wait, are you what?
Was Caleb here at all?
Oh God,
Was that another person? They can't see. We can do anything.
that's true. We could be naked right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not wearing pants.
Thank God the desk is here. Otherwise, I'd be seeing dick.
End it. End it.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. This is
It doesn't always have to end with dicks.
This has been Andrew Garaventa for Speak and Destroy. You can follow me at AJ Garaventa. Stephen Reed.
This has been me. You just said my name. Now I can't be like, you're like, and Stephen Reed. I'm like, this is Stephen Reed. And they're like, they know that. Now they think I'm fucking stupid.
Tell them where to find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at King of OK or our Twitch stream, Fist Team, www.twitch.tv/Fist Team.
And it's at Fist Team, right? On Twitter.
Yeah. Stop one-upping me. I'm not going to come back. I won't. I won't do it.
You have to.
I do. I'm chained.
They can also follow us. You guys can follow us at speak_destroy. Once again, and www.speakanddestroyshow.blogspot.com.
Yeah. So let's just end it now so you can throw me my trough full of food because I can't leave.
Thanks again, guys.
I'll see you later. Oh shit, I have to end it.
You did stop.
I'm eating